this is why I always go back to fantasy, because fantasy makes me happy. Real life is a lot sometimes, and you just need a good romantasy and a good fantasy to just get lost in, to just cope with the rest of it. So my most recent read was Viola Davis's memoir. It was so good. It was so good. She talks about her life, like, and everything that happened, and like all her struggles, and it's inspiring. I don't really do a lot of nonfiction, but when I do find good nonfiction, and so far, I have to say, this year, my goal this year was to read one nonfiction book a month. So by the end of the year, I should have read 12, right? That was the goal. So far I've read 3. But they've all been good ones. I've read Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. That was good. I read Spare. That's Prince Harry's memoir. I've read Viola Davis's memoir, and all of them have been really good. So I mean, even if I don't hit my mark of 12, which I don't think I'm going to, but even if I don't hit my mark of 12, it was still good. So Viola Davis's book, and I saw some really interesting reviews. Like, some reviews I saw were like, it was depressing, they didn't like it. It was really, yeah. And depressing was one of the biggest, the most common review I saw. Negative review. There were some really good positive reviews too, but the negative was, oh, it's depressing, and I'm like, yes, okay, I will give you that, because everybody has their own take on stories and books and things. But this was the girl's life. This was the woman's life. Like, it was depressing, and she acknowledges that. Even in her book, she acknowledges that, my life was horrible growing up, but that was her life. And there are a lot of people who live lives that are so uncertain, and so they have to fight for every inch they get. They face abuse, they face food insecurity, they face housing insecurity, they face, this is the realities of the world that we live in. And I mean, my takeaway was not that it was depressing. My takeaway was that it was inspiring. The fact that she did all of that and went through all of that, her and her family, and she's still she seems, from her memoir and her own analysis of her life, that it didn't break her. She came to terms with her life, her circumstance, who she was, and as an adult, she's made no excuses, and she has pushed forward, and she has made a life for herself and her family that she's proud of. And I find that admirable. So when I was reading it and I binged it, I have to say I listened to it on audio. I binged it in a day. I listened at 2.0 speed, and it was really good. And of course I have to pause it at certain parts and rewind at certain parts, when I got distracted and family and things came into play. But it was good. It's really, really good. So, you know what it reminded me of when I read some of those reviews, and I still downloaded it because I had that on my TBR to say, and another acquaintance of mine had recommended it and said that it was really good, and so I downloaded it despite the negative feedback, aka reviews. It reminded me of years ago. I love the theater, and one of my favorite plays and productions is Les Miserables. And I was sharing it with a colleague that this was when the new movie was coming out with Hugh Jackman and what is her name? Oh, Anne Hathaway. Yeah, so I was sharing with a friend that I wanted to see the movie, and if they ever bring it to like the theater close by to where we are, where I live, I would go. And this was obviously years ago. You know, that movie's pretty old now. And she said to me, "Oh, Les Mis is my my least favorite theatrical play, like my least favorite show, because I think it's depressing. Like, it's so." And I thought, and I don't know if it's if I could be accused of being half glass full, or, but I was like, that wasn't my takeaway from Les Mis, and I've seen it so many times since then, you know, on TV, at theaters. Like, I've seen it, and I'm just like, I never come away feeling depressed. There are depressing parts, or parts that make you sad, but my whole takeaway from the movie or the production is not depression. It's not like sadness. It's actually hope and joy, because at the end there is happiness. Like, everyone doesn't have that, but when I watch it, I think to myself, these people lived their lives the way they thought best, and because of how the circumstances that they were dealt. And some people, their hopes and dreams didn't come to fruition, and yet some people did, you know. She fell in love, she got pregnant, she was in poverty, she fell for the lies her lover told her, and then he left her. How many times do we hear that story? Is it depressing? No, it's just life. It's just people living. And for that one, for Les Mis, through the French Revolution. So I came away with the same feeling when I read those reviews, and I was just like, no, it's not depressing. This was her life. This was her life. These were the cards that she was dealt. She could have played victim. Viola Davis. She could have played victim. She could have said, my life, and her siblings, you know, she could have said, this is just how I'm dealt. We're just always going to be poor. We're always going to be in abusive relationships. She didn't do that. She didn't do that. There was something on the inside of her core personality that pushed her to do more, to be more, and to have something else for herself, to change her family dynamic, her family history, her generational struggle, instead of curse, but the struggle that the generations came from. And how many of those stories do we have? And especially for people of color, because for so long, the powers that be have made it a point to subject us to poverty and to make it harder for us to rise above. But that was not her end, you know. And I really truly enjoyed it. I really thought that was such a great read. So if you get a chance, when you get a chance, if you just want, if you do nonfiction at all and you're looking for like a memoir or something, read Viola Davis's. It's really good. And I mean, you might come away thinking it was depressing too. I don't know. Reading is subjective, but give it a shot and see. You might come away feeling something. It'll make you feel. Whether it's depression or relief or happiness or because there were some parts that I teared up, just reading about her struggle and the struggles of the people in her life. I teared up. It was heart-wrenching, but it's life, and this is why I always go back to fantasy, because fantasy makes me happy. Real life is a lot sometimes, and you just need a good romantasy and a good fantasy to just get lost in, to just cope with the rest of it. But anyway, that's my take on that, so enjoy.